Welcome back to Reliant Disc Golf. I'm Noah, and today I'll give you a review on the new S-Line DD3 from Discmania.
As many of you know, Discmania is giving away 1,000 new S-Line discs. So if you want to get in on that giveaway, there are a couple things you have to do. First, you have to make an account on discmania.net. If you're in Europe, you have to use the European store. Second, you have to subscribe to their monthly newsletter for a chance to get one of these 1,000 new S-Line discs before the drop. So you don't want to miss out on that. These things are sick. Make sure to join that.
For the review, I will throw this S-Line DD3 on hyzer, flat, and anhyzer to see what it does, see how it fights out, see if it flips, you know, all the shots. I'll also throw some forehands, and then I will compare them to their C-Line counterpart and the Cloudbreaker. So, let's see what it has. Just to give some basic feedback on the S-Line DD3 and this new plastic. Hand feel, honestly, because the plastic's a little bit more flexible, I feel like it'll fit more hand sizes. So I don't have the biggest hands in the world, so I like a flatter disc. And this S-Line DD3 has a little bit more give to it to where I can really dig into it and have a consistent grip, because not only is it like a little more flexible, but it's a little more grippy. I feel like I can get a good consistent grip regardless of the weather. Hand feel alone, it feels really good. It's a little domey, but it's not like terribly domey. I know you don't hear like a tangible popping noise when you move this disc. If you're like trying to find a good distance driver that feels good, this S-Line has a good feel to it, and it's comfortable enough for multiple hand sizes to where I think you could work it. My review is nothing without a comparison. So I grabbed a Cloudbreaker, thanks Alex, and just to kind of see the difference in it. It has a similar feel, but I would say this Cloudbreaker has a smaller rim, right? It's a different mold, of course, so it's gonna feel a little different. The DD3 is still gonna have that same consistent rim that you would find in a C-Line DD3. But this Cloudbreaker, the C-Line, on the other hand, so I actually bag a C-Line. The thing with the C-Line is a lot stiffer than this S-Line plastic. I would say that the C-Line, this edge here likes to jut out a little bit more. I feel like there's times where I'll rip on a C-Line DD3 and it's gonna cut my hand. Especially when it's cold, and I live up in Indiana for half the year, so yeah. You can also hear like a popping noise with the C-Line, whereas with this S-Line, it's like, I wouldn't say gummy, but it's much more flexible, much more malleable. You can really dig into it. All right, I will try it out on a hyzer first. My normal golf shot is about 400 on a hyzer, so we'll see what this does. I'm gonna throw them flat. There is like the slightest of tailwinds, so keep that in mind, but that really shouldn't affect it much at all. All right, anhyzer, I'm gonna leave it high and force it over and see what it does. I'm gonna see how far I can throw it. See how it flies on a forehand. I'll put a touch of hyzer on it so it'll flip. Not bad.
That was sweet.
Sweet. Now I will compare the stock S-Line with the Cloudbreaker and DD3 on both hyzer and flat. Feels very similar. The Cloudbreaker itself seems to have a little bit more stability to it, to where it'll flip, but it's still gonna hold on that line, whereas the stock S-Line likes to want to turn a little bit. So kind of fits both. It's not the exact same disc, which is good. C-Line on hyzer. Still your friendly neighborhood, very stable DD3. Hold of the line, doesn't like to turn, doesn't like to flip. unless you really crush it. There is a more considerable tailwind now, but it has more beef than the S-Line and also the Cloud Breaker. All right, Cloud Breaker, flat, see what happens. Cloud Breaker liked to turn and it held onto it, but it didn't glide forward as far. Whereas the S-Line, when it turned, it actually like kept turning, but it fought out of it eventually. But it didn't just like turn and just die. It like glided forward. So if you want something that nukes, S-Line DD3, I mean, I like it. I think it could be really workable in your bag. C-Line DD3, flat. You'll see the C-Line just likes to hold it. I mean, whatever line you put on, it likes to hold it. If you really do crush it, it will flip or turn a little bit, but that C-Line, I put a pretty good pop on it. The C-Line just stayed on the line and it hyzered out. So those are the 3 different comparisons. Overall, S-Line DD3 nukes, new crusher. If you want effortless distance, go check out the S-Line DD3. It drops February 22nd on Discmania store. Go buy it, check it out, stay reliant.